The votes are in, and as we showed you just a few minutes ago, the AP has already called several races in the D.C. primary.
But we are still awaiting the final say in what is arguably the district's biggest race, which is the run for mayor. We have Democratic strategist Jay Satterfield joining us this morning, really to help us understand these early numbers. Good to have you with us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, let's start with the mayoral race. So right now, the AP has not called it, as we mentioned, but we are seeing Janice Lewis-George, with a lead over Kenyon McDuffie. The numbers I have is 53% to his 37% at this point. What are the chances the tides turn in McDuffie's favor at this point?
Well, look, guys, I got to be honest with you. I think this is a rebuke to Mayor Bowser. I mean, Kenyon was her pick, really throughout this entire thing. I think this was a rebuke to her. I mean, there's really no way to catch up at this point, in my eyes, given the statistical math of elections and how they work. I believe Janice Lewis-George has probably pulled this out.
All right, so let's talk about another big race here that is called this morning, the race for delegate. We know that Eleanor Holmes Norton was in that position since 1991, and it looks like Robert White, they've called it for Robert White. What does this victory say about the voters' priority since they picked White to replace Eleanor Holmes Norton?
Yeah, they want a pragmatic progressive, to come in and do the work. Brooke Pinto was sort of all over the place. She was sort of the next front runner up, and what seemed to be a tie with Robert going into this thing. But Robert's that pragmatic progressive. He's fought on a number of issues that have proved worthwhile for the people of DC, and that was showed in last night's results. I will say I'm a little shocked that it was such an uphill win for him and a decisive win. I thought it would be a little closer. I thought that, just didn't really thought it would be closer of a race, and it certainly wasn't. So congratulations to Councilman White.
We've heard election officials talk about just the massive turnout for this primary, right? We even saw polls closing hours later than expected. Does that surprise you at all?
Not in a year like 2026 when everything's a rebuke to President Trump, even on the local level, right, in the nation's capital. So none of that surprised me, and I don't think it should for most residents.
All right, so D.C. is largely Democratic. It's a largely Democratic district. In fact, since home rule back in 1974, since it started, every mayor, all 8 of them, have been Democrats. So explain to us why it is so important to show up for these primary races.
Well, it's important, again, in a year like 2026 to show up because you want to rebuke, and I think Democrats should rebuke someone like President Trump on the local level, which seems to go upstream now. I mean, look, I'll say it plain and simple. I think Trump is someone like a bull in a china shop that thinks he's an interior decorator, right? And last night's results and just the sheer number of people that showed up, again, I think was a rebuking to that. We know he's made threats against, taking over D.C. If a certain person is elected mayor. And, this was a really good, strong show up for Democrats and show out for Democrats, and something that was very important to keep in mind.
75% of registered voters in D.C. are Democrats, so not surprising, and putting a fine point on what you just said. Before we have to let you go, any other early results that surprised you this morning or that you'll be closely watching? I was looking at Ward 1, where we could see that ranked choice voting play out in real time, but what are your thoughts?
Well, you mentioned Ward 1. That's what I was going to say. To be honest with you, nothing really shocked me. I did think that Attorney General Brian Job was going to have a little bit of a go at it as far as an opponent goes, but he seemed to clear that out pretty clearly as well. So for me, I wouldn't say any surprises, but I will say the turnout was something that folks should continue to look out for, and I think that will grow in years to come for DC.
All right, Democratic strategist Jay Satterfield, thank you very much for your time this morning.
Thanks, y'all.